And they tell us a variety of other lies, such as how miraculous vaccines are. It was Hitler who said, you tell a lie long enough, eventually you'll believe this truth, and the greater the lie, the more people will believe it.
What is happening? Something is going on. Can you feel the way?
Hi, welcome to Spiral Into It. I'm Fisk Smith. Dr. Leonard Horowitz is a Harvard-trained expert in public health education. He is also the author of Emerging Viruses, AIDS and Ebola. Dr. Horowitz, among other things, in this presentation given at ConspiracyCon in the spring of 2001, provides compelling research that AIDS-like viruses were introduced by biological contractors and were funded by taxpayers in the late 1960s. As outrageous as this might seem, Dr. Horowitz provides many examples of why an unhealthy population might be just what the pharmaceutical corporations desire. Listen to his findings. There is no barrel of laughs here, but this is a subject that our Spiral Into It staff felt necessary to report. What is happening? Something is going on. Can you feel the way?
Christopher Simpson said it very, very well, like I said it in Emerging Viruses. I referenced Christopher Simpson's Oxford University Press 1994 publication called The Science of Coercion. He studied psychological warfare methods used between 1945 and virtually the present on health scientists and other scientists. And he determined that the Rockefellers set the scientific agenda for the world. Therefore, if you were a health scientist that did not go along with the agenda, which is directed through academia, then you were traditionally demoted, defunded, and ostracized. And if you kept it up, then you were persecuted, incarcerated, if not assassinated. So this is what we're dealing with here. The pesticide toxicity issue is horrific. And so I spend the first 6 chapters dealing with the fact that all of the illnesses that can come about, that are coming about because of pesticide poisoning of the population, are horrific, and largely explains why the people in the great Northeast who get the jet stream spraying and carrying of all the pesticides used virtually throughout the United States, why they behave so insanely. See, I said, anecdotally, living in the great Northeast. So I'm going to skip ahead, go beyond the cancers and the carcinogens, and go beyond some of the stories that we tell you, people who even wash their hair with malathion for lice, for hair lice. They use shampoos, and the hideous birth defects that are caused by what they're doing, which is insane. And then, again, what I also do that I ask you to photocopy. Now, this book is not available yet. It's coming out in about 4 weeks. But I ask you to photocopy the rebuttal that I give. I ask you to photocopy a rebuttal letter, an analysis of what was sent to the people of California prior to spraying of malathion in this state, so that you have what they do, the ploys that are used to brainwash you into thinking that this is for public health and for your good, to go through it step by step so that you can bring it to your legislative sessions. You can bring it to your town hall meetings. Prior to this, we rushed ahead this book because I knew that starting this spring, which is now in the next couple of weeks, you're going to start hearing and reading more propaganda telling you they got to spray, they got to spray, they got to spray, they got to spray Anvil 1010 from Chevron or malathion throughout the eastern seaboard. And we rushed ahead to get this out so that you can get this information to the legislators, to wake them up and say no. Now this can be done now. It has been done in several other communities. We cite them. You can stop it, but you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do some homework pretty fast. The contaminants, all the contaminants, they talk about one thing, malathion, it's not. Just one thing, anvil, it's not. There's all these metabolites, which end up being far more toxic than the original thing. They don't tell you about those things. So you've got to analyze that. If you're going to be producing an agenda, a public health policy, you have got to know what you're doing. So we spend a lot of time in this. And again, I don't have a lot of time to go into this, but just to give you a sense of what a lie it is that says that this is not harmful to you or your children, here's one statement by one of the experts, according to University of California neurobiologist, Dr. Jorge Mancilis, formerly with the Salk Institute. It means they're spraying, the level in which they were spraying malathion and also likely anvil. It means that a 50-pound child would have to be exposed to malathion found in 1/3 of a square foot to exceed the EPA's acceptable intake level, and to the amount of malathion in 3.5 square feet to have observable toxic effects. That means a child literally playing on the grass or in a sandbox or drinking from a water fountain can be exposed after those spraying helicopters have gone by. And in this audience, there are several people from New York, and the hideous manner in which they already sprayed Staten Island, the black helicopters, which we show you in California at least, when they ran the malathion programs during the 1980s and early 90s, it was a CIA corporation, front corporation, that owned the helicopters that were the spraying agents. And they went over Staten Island just at 6 o'clock at night without having alerted the baseball league. And the children playing in the park and the golfers on the golf course and the people in the park. And they sprayed them all. That was reported in one of the newspapers in the Staten Island press. You know, so essentially Dr. Samuel Epstein's work is world-renowned. And we give you that to take before your legislative meetings.